Oh,
Hello, Tao.
Peter,
Hello, Tao. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
You're
It's
looking
good to
very
know.
comfortable.
I'm looking very comfortable. Yes, this is my bedroom. It's my it's where I counsel people from
Oh,
this Zoom right here.
oh
But
wow.
I've been up since 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I went out
Mm,
for a walk.
mm. When you wake up, what's the first thing that happens when you wake up?
First thing that happens, well, besides the normal stuff like take a leak, um, I uh, I thought, what's on my list for the day? I like to be productive, so I looked down on my phone probably and thought, what am I up to? And I had some messages, and so I made a podcast for a guy who had added me on Instagram, and we talked about spirituality.
Mm, yes. It's interesting, isn't it? When we ask questions and the answer we give.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't intend on talking about spirituality with him even. I was just going to introduce myself to him because he added me on Instagram and he said hello and I said hello back. And so I was like, I should introduce myself to you. So I made him a little podcast and we ended up talking about spirituality. I love your name, Tao. I have a book here, the Tao Te Ching, um, Way or Path. It's a good name.
Yes. Peter, how is my audio? Is it okay? Can you hear
Yes,
echoes or anything like this?
no, that's perfect. How's my
Okay, good.
audio?
It's perfect as well.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure.
I love
Sometimes,
your setup there.
yeah.
It's your chair and everything. It's so calming.
I'll let you
Mine's a
have,
little mine's a little chaotic.
yeah, you have a little ganders of the room. This is where I do the therapy here. People come here and I have a Thai massage mat. I leave it down here. And we have therapy either lying down. Some people have therapy standing up. Some people have therapy when on a seat.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes some people are in so much pain they sit here and they can't get up. So I do the therapy there. It just really depends on the situation, on the moment. Nothing's
yeah,
planned.
yeah. Nothing is planned with me either. Sometimes I do Zoom from the park, or sometimes I do Zoom from the basement. But
Mm,
today it's from my room.
nice.
Um, I I counsel people, and I also spiritually teach, and that's sort of what I do. And I'm an author too. But
Mm,
and I teach guitar. I'm a multi-talented, but um, I don't get paid for any of them. I do them for free. I'm a monk basically.
mm, mm.
um, I fast and I pray, but I don't belong to a certain religion. I belong to all the religions because they all share some truth.
That's very, very zen.
Yeah, yeah. It's called the perennial philosophy. It's the belief that every religion shares some common truth. It's been around since religion's been around, but religion sometimes gets in the way. But spirituality is important, I think. I think it's missing in a lot of people's lives.
Mm. I tend not to worry about what other people's lives are.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Um, I counsel people though who are missing stuff, and uh, I use spirituality to counsel people, which is good um,
Mm,
when they're missing that. And that's what they need. Because Buddhism, for instance, has an answer to a lot of problems like suffering. Um, Buddhism teaches that suffering is universal, and then it teaches that the cause is desire for that which you do not have. And then it teaches that the prognosis, because it's a medical treatment essentially, you come in with a symptom, you're suffering, you're not doing too hot, and then you have a cause, and they figure out the cause is you want something you don't have, and then they figure out the outcome is nirvana, and then they figure out the eightfold path is the treatment. So it's Ayurvedic medicine essentially, but in its own way. But that's the cure for depression.
Yeah. I don't really know about any other religions. I don't know anything.
What religion are you?
Um, I I don't know. I'm nothing.
You're nothing. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's not a bad place to be. My book is about. Um, my book is meant for atheists and believers alike, because essentially you don't have to believe a certain thing, because like the Tao Te Ching teaches that the Tao is the unlimited. So, well, I had it symbol. Where did I put it? Oh, I see. My brother made this for me, and it explains Hinduism and Taoism and Buddhism and Christianity very simply. This is the universe, right? And this is you. You are part of the universe. And the universe doesn't actually have a border. The universe is unlimited. It's ever expanding, right? There's no wall when you get to the end of the universe.
I don't know. I've never been
You.
there.
No one's ever been there. No one can explain it. That's the interesting thing, because no one can explain the end of the universe because no one can get outside of it. And then there's you, and then there's this illusion that you are separate from everything else. And that's what Hinduism teaches, is that you are separate from everything else by the things that define you. But they make you unique, not separate, right?
Yeah.
Like you have black hair. I think you're Vietnamese, right? Originally?
Yeah, I was born to Vietnamese and Chinese parents.
Vietnamese and Chinese parents. Yeah. And we use those labels in their words that represent a measurement of something in the world. And that thing is the small parts. That's what language is. That's what science is. That's what math is. It measures things that are small parts of the world. And that's what the Tao Te Ching teaches.
Peter, has anyone ever described you as being like a parrot?
Parrot?
Yeah.
No. Why? Am I like a parrot?
Yeah, similar. Which you have a good ability to repeat things that you've been, listening to and reading.
Yeah, it's true. I've learned a lot in the last 3 years. I studied religion for the last 3 years. And I learned a lot from every religion. I came up with some of my own ideas too. But
so, Peter, before we continue, please let me ask you, why is it that you wanted to talk to me?
I wanted to learn about your spiritual beliefs.
Oh, you want to learn about, okay.
I was always curious because originally I saw you, and there was a man, Charlie, homeless Charlie, the man with dreadlocks. And I saw a video, and I was moved by your compassion, because I was a bank teller once. I struggled with mental health for many years, and I was a bank teller at a bank in a big city in Wisconsin, which is by Chicago. It's 2 hours northwest of Chicago. And there was a homeless man, Bob, we'll call him. And we would welcome him into the bank because we were a brand new bank and we didn't have any customers. And the branch manager didn't care what I did. As long as I followed the rules, she didn't care what I did. She was going through a tough time. So my instinct was social work. So I brought in the homeless man, and I let him sleep in our bank, and I let him talk to me for hours and stuff like that. And I thought of that when I saw your video of Charlie, and I saw your caftan, and I saw your Buddha bag, your messenger bag. I was like, that looks comfortable. So I got them. But that was years ago. 2-3 years ago, I got my caftans and my my messenger bag. But years ago, it was at the bank. That was 7 years ago. But
Mm,
I loved your compassion for Charlie.
mm,
That's what initially drew me to you.
mm. So the question was, why did you contact me? And your answer was because you wanted to learn about my spirituality. And
Yeah,
and prior to that conversation, I said to you that I'm no religion. I'm nothing.
yeah, yeah.
What
That's
what what
interesting.
what does that tell you about about anything?
No, it's interesting because no religion isn't bad. Um, I think I think religion often gets in the way of things. Organized religion,
Mm,
spirituality is important. A connection, like this thing, the universe, and there's you. The
mm,
connection to the universe is important, but
yes.
the religion itself is sometimes man-made and corrupt. It can become
Mm,
corrupt, but that's the nature of some people. That's not the
yeah.
nature of that's not the nature of the religion. That's just the nature of some people. And there's always a balance of good and evil. So, and there will always be in fight. That's yin yang,
Yeah. How does it make
mutually arising things.
Peter, how does it make you feel when I say that I do not worry about anyone?
It's a good thing.
Hmm.
Good thing.
How does that relate to you? That statement
Um,
that I have no need to worry about anyone.
it relates to me because um, I do worry about people, I guess, in some sense. But
Yeah.
I don't take my religion or my beliefs and force them on people. That's an important thing, I think, with religion. Um,
Hmm.
I encourage them to use tools from every religion to combat their issues,
Yeah. But isn't that
their
a bit like
suffering.
force? Is that a bit like forcing your beliefs on them?
No, no, it's teaching.
No.
Teaching.
Okay.
I teach them from religion. Never force. Definitely
Hmm.
teach,
Hmm.
because I think
Sometimes.
that every religion has something to offer, and in that case, um, religion often harms people, and so people go away from religion. Um, but like Christianity, for instance, has the Crusades or something. I just spoke with a woman who was researching the Crusades, and she said, well, she was converted to Catholic willingly, but she said, I was reading the history of the Crusades, and she said, I don't like it. I said, well, that's good, because you have to be critical of religion.
You have
Every
to be.
religion you have to question, but you got to
Yeah.
be open-minded,
Yeah.
because like if you have a basket of fruit and there's one bad apple, one rotten apple, you throw out that rotten apple, you don't throw out the whole basket,
Hmm.
because that whole basket has lots to offer, lots of lessons, and it doesn't have to be fact. It can be truth, but not fact. And that's where science is difficult, because science wants fact, but
Hmm.
there's truth to be found in a message of a religion, even if there is no fact.
Peter, how old are you?
33,
What year was you born?
1990,
1990.
of
Mm.
course,
Yeah, you're the horse, yeah.
I'm a
Very,
Pisces.
yeah, very intelligent. And then being a Pisces, you're very intuitive as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. How do you feel about your life at the moment?
Very good, very good. Um, there was a lot of struggles for many years. I was diagnosed with mental health issues when I was 21. I
Mm,
probably had them since I was born, but
mm,
or acquired them along the way. But I think of mental health as the DSM is a diagnostic manual for psychiatrists in America. It's a diagnostic statistical manual put out by the American Psychiatric Association. It's got all the words for mental health issues, but
mm,
they're words for suffering. They're different kinds of suffering, and they're
yeah,
different labels. But um, I don't like to think of myself as broken.
mm,
I don't like to think of myself as ill. I like to think I have suffering, and there's a treatment for it. And that treatment is what's important, not the label. But I suffered for many years with mental health issues, and I was medicated, and that's helpful. It can be helpful, but it's not the
mm,
cure. it helps a symptom, right? It helps a
Mm.
symptom. It's very helpful, but
Did they help you?
oftentimes
Did they help you to sleep?
it can help me sleep too. Yes.
Yeah.
I have a medication for sleep. I have a medication for, there's a medication for everything these days. But uh,
Medication for everything apart from the cure.
except for the cure. And I think the cure is really life management, really a perspective change too.
Yeah.
How you view the world is the cure. And I think Buddhism offers a lot of that. Christianity offers a little because Christianity teaches if you have a purpose, the suffering can be worth it. And Buddhism teaches, well, your suffering is caused by desire for that which you do not have. Christianity teaches Jesus' teachings of, well, if he saves the world, can he suffer? And that's what Viktor Frankl taught, a Jewish man from the Holocaust. He wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning, and he discussed how if there's a reason for your suffering, it makes it bearable.
Mm.
And that's a Japanese concept called ikigai. It's you're good at something, it benefits others, you enjoy doing it, and it makes money. And that's what you should do in life, right? The money I haven't figured out yet because I do my book for free and I do my counseling for free and I do guitar lessons for free. I have to figure out the money, but I've got the first three, just not the
Mm.
money. And I don't care about money. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I suffered for many years, essentially in jobs that didn't suit me. Like I didn't fit in the job. Um, it didn't help others, or it wasn't my personality or my talents. And I don't want to spend 8 hours a day wasting my life.
Yeah.
That's a lot of life because you sleep 8 hours, you work 8 hours, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh well. So Peter, so far, what have you learned?
What have I learned?
Yeah, from your question, from when I asked you, why did you contact me for?
What have I learned from you?
Yeah, so far, what have you learned?
I've learned self-reflection. Oftentimes when people talk, it's often like a form of therapy. Like when you and I talk, we process things by talking them through. It's like they call it narrative therapy. Um, and it's by telling your story that you process it. And it's by someone else looking at you that they reflect your story back at you. And then they ask you questions and they give you advice. And they say, well, look at it this way. They offer a unique perspective. They're a mirror to you. And that's
Mm.
what a therapist is. And I think if everyone in the world who needed a therapist, we'd run out of therapists if everyone had one. And we can be each other's therapists. And we don't have to have a degree. We just
Mm.
have to listen and reflect.
Mm.
I think it's important. Some people, of course, have severe cases and they do need a therapist or medication. But many people who are suffering need someone to listen and reflect. And I think that's important.
Mm. Would you say you're suffering?
I would say, of course, in some ways, I'm suffering.
Mm.
Of course, I'm very human. Um,
Yeah. Could you describe some of the suffering that you feel?
Sometimes I feel lost. Sometimes I
Mm.
feel like my purpose isn't set in stone. Sometimes I lose faith in myself. Um,
Mm.
and in other ways, I'm very not suffering. I'm very grateful for most of my life. Um, I have a loving family. I have a loving fiance. I have uh, work that I enjoy and benefits others. And but monetarily, I try and do my best to not be a burden on others. So I live sort of like a monk. I live very simply.
Mm.
And yeah, I do studies and I write my book and I hope my book makes some money to support me. And
Mm.
that's my little life. I counsel
Mm.
people for free. It's charity.
Did you ever go out much? What do you do to enjoy yourself?
I watch movies, read books, and listen to music. Although I do have some friends I do go out and see.
Mm.
But I enjoy art very much. All of those art forms are very interesting. They're sort of entertainment, but they're also a reflection of who we are as people.
Mm.
They can be interesting in that aspect. But no, I do go. I walk every day. I walk about 2 hours every day. Um, I've been walking 2 hours. My medication actually had side effects, so
Mm.
I gained a lot of weight. I started out at 120 pounds, got up to 240 pounds, got back to 170 pounds, and my goal is 150. But I'm I'm walking 2 hours every day and fasting and dieting and changing my habits, and hopefully we'll be healthy.
Yeah. For myself, there's, interest in both mind and body.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've always tried to help people to get reacquainted with the physical side of things. Because the physical is very tangible, isn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Very tangible. But when we speculate or when we think too much, we can tend to get lost.
I know, and that's why the walking helps so much, because it's like it's there. You're in the moment. It's
That's it.
mindfulness. It's Buddhist meditation, basically.
Mm.
Is you're mindfully doing something. You're in that moment. I think that's important. I think that's what's important about spirituality too, in opposition to religion, is that you don't believe what others tell you. You experience it yourself.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
exactly it. So
That's
that's the
exactly it.
that's the opposite of a parrot.
It's the opposite of a parrot. Exactly.
Yes. The parrot regurgitates, whereas the one that is just being, they just be.
Yeah, exactly.
They have no worry for others about what's happening around, but they're very aware of what's happening in the present moment.
Yeah,
So one is being and one is being a parrot.
yeah. Um, I've definitely had some experiences that are amazing, um, of like ego death. Ego death is something discussed with Christian mysticism and Buddhist nirvana and Hinduism and hallucinogen use, and it's all intertwined. It's this concept of your sense of self as separate from the universe vanishes,
Mm,
and you realize your connection, and then you feel at peace, and that's what nirvana is, and that's what a lot of religions share that common truth, which is interesting, and I've experienced that so much, and it's in a powerful feeling. Um, and I've experienced it due to meditation and prayer.
mm. Do you meditate and pray often? Is it a regular occurrence? How often do you do it?
Um, I do it. I haven't done it much recently, but I was reading a book by Thomas Merton. He's a Catholic monk. Um, he's got a book called Contemplative Prayer with introduction by a Buddhist monk, Thich Nhat Hanh, if you're familiar with Thich Nhat
Vietnamese,
Hanh.
yeah, Vietnamese monk.
And he discusses the contemplation and the meditation of it. And I've also read a book called A Way of a Pilgrim, which discusses a prayer called the Jesus Prayer, which is, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. And the point, I don't think, is the Jesus part. I don't think that's the point. I think the point is concentration on one thing consistently. Because some brothers taught me to do it from the Christian church, and they taught me to do it 100 times. So I got some Buddhist mala beads, and I do it 100 times. And then they said, do it more. And they said, do it unceasingly, which
Mm.
is what Paul taught in the New Testament. You unceasingly do it. So you go, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Lord Jesus Christ, and it becomes a breath work.
Yes.
It becomes a physical thing. And
Do
it
you know
becomes a
why?
mental thing too, because you quiet your mind, because you concentrate on one thing.
That's it.
And I did it 300 times, and it felt amazing. I feel like I reached some sense of satori, which is the word for enlightenment in Buddhism.
If it feels so good, would you do it again? Would you do it more often?
Yes, yes, but it sent me into a weird state. It was so powerful. I began to sweat profusely and began to tremble, and I I had a manic episode and I couldn't sleep for days because it felt so profound. It was such a profound experience that now if I do it again, though, I'm sure I will. I can't say for sure, but I I have a feeling it won't be so profound because I've experienced it before, and it will be more relaxed.
Mm. So when I
But
practice meditation, I always practice like it's my first time.
meditation's hard.
Mm,
It's a hard thing to learn. It took me about a decade to learn it because I learned from psychologists,
mm,
my mental health issues, and they always taught me meditation, and it really didn't get me until the Jesus prayer when I realized, oh, it's the concentration on nothing, literally nothing, and it's hard to do. It's hard because
mm,
your thoughts come and go. Your thoughts come and go. I counsel a woman with obsessive compulsive disorder, and her thoughts are always there. But the point is, you don't judge them. You
yeah.
let them pass. You let them fly by, and you concentrate on the one centered thing, the breath.
Mm,
Hinduism or yoga or what have you. The physical thing, you center it on that, and that helps you.
mm. Would you like to
Yeah,
practice something like this now?
we could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's try
What,
this.
what do you like to do?
What we're going to do now is we're just going to sit and just behold like a window, like an open window, like an open space, just beholding, just allowing, just to witness. Often we do not need any words to describe what is happening. Just need to be present, to witness, to behold, allowing everything just to be safe in the knowledge that everything is exactly as it should be. Looking internally, one realizes and acknowledges that there's this wonderful, beautiful, miraculous happening inside as well. This verb, this forever changing, it happens all by itself. The heart beats all by itself. The lungs expand and compress all by themselves. And behold, this coming and going, this natural ebb and flow of thy breath is happening in union, in unison, in harmony, in balance, all by itself. And all we are doing is just allowing it to be, just beholding, like a window, like an opening, like a vast, clear sky. Just beholding, just allowing, letting it be. Letting it be. Some are afraid of the silence, but if we just behold, we start to notice that everything is happening all at once. We become the eye of the storm, the center of all that's happening, beholding, allowing, accepting, surrendering, letting it be.
Very peaceful.
Within those brief moments, you was witnessing. You was no longer the parrot, just watching. The moment we try to describe something, it loses all meaning. The present is always experienced in the present moment. The moment we discuss it, it is no longer the present. So all these concepts, all these ideas, all these romanticized ideals, this narrative, this story, all of these are in the confines of what we describe as mind, like clouds wafting and flowing through the open sky. But if we just behold, just witness, we realize that we are the open sky. We are the clear sky. The sky, clear. No need to talk. No need to explain or describe. Just being. No longer worried for things that are not of any concern. What is concerning is really from where we choose to perceive from. And when we have the ability now to be the clear, open sky, we can perceive everything all at once, in union, in harmony, in equilibrium, in equanimity, with compassion. We behold and we just be. Let it be. Emphasis on the word it, for that is what you are. You are just it. No name, no label, no thing connected or associated with what you truly are. You are just something that is present, something that is witnessing. Just so happens that you are inside a body of flesh and blood. This temple, the sanctuary, some call it a castle, some call it a prison or a cage. But one thing that is true is that there is something that is within it, just perceiving, just aware, just present. And that is what you truly are. You are just witnessing. So when we acknowledge this, we become humbled. We are reminded that the ebb and flow of breath reminds us that we are inside a temple of flesh and blood. This vehicle, this molecular wonder, this miraculous vehicle that we use to interact with one another in this plane of existence that we call life. When we can now really cherish, love, be compassionate to this being, this combination of ego and body, this avatar, then we can be present, consistently present, always present. Please, Peter, give yourself a little hug. Just give yourself a little hug. And taking a nice gentle breath. Yeah, give yourself a hug. Give yourself a hug. And acknowledge that when you breathe in, it's almost like all of your organs are hugging each other as well. A loving hug. Just a loving hug. Not a care in the world. It's just about this hug right now. And then now you can start to pat yourself. Just patting. Patting. Well done. There you go. Well done. Just patting. We do this just to remind us that we're inside a being. We're inside an avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And we can always choose from where we perceive from. So rather being the narrative, rather being the debris around the cyclone or the tornado, you could choose to become the eye of the storm, the epicenter. From the center, there is no left or right. From the center, there's no right or wrong. From the center, there is everything at the same time happening all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So when you asked me what is my religion, my reply was nothing. My religion is just, if I had to say something, it would be just to experience. I'm just visiting.
That's
I
a
don't know
beautiful
where.
thing.
See, I don't know when I'm gonna go. When it happens, it happens. I do not
Yeah.
know what happens after I go. Whatever happened will happen. I do not know how big this place is. It's okay. I don't need to know how far and beyond it stretches. It does not matter. What is very important for me is that I acknowledge that I'm right here, right now, in front of this camera, speaking to this other avatar. Right now is what's really important. And I
Mm-hmm.
live my life in this kind of wave, this ebb and flow. Things become simple, less thinking, more doing. I no longer become a parrot. I am no longer regurgitating things that I've been collecting like a magpie or a squirrel. I become just a flow riding the wave of love. Beautiful. So, Peter, we are coming towards the end of this little talk. I would love for us to continue. Thank you so
Okay.
much for reaching out to me. And I really do hope that you will watch back on this little chat that we had, this little window, and really observe, just observe yourself and observe the other avatar, and just observe. And you could do so and re-practice that little moment of meditation that we had as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you. It's just my suggestion from my open heart.
It's perfect.
Yes, brother? Thank you so much. I will say goodbye to you now. And until the next time, I'm the avatar known as Tao Chi Kai. Om Ni Om.
Much love.
Much love, brother.